Hi, everybody. Welcome to our channel, Our Scientology Stories, Peeling the Onion. My name is Mark Fisher, and we want to welcome you here on this Saturday because this is sort of a last-minute thing. But before I go any further, I want to introduce my co-host, Janis Gillham Grady. Hi, Janis. How you doing?
Hello, Mark. Good day, everyone. I'm doing good. It's beautiful outside. We had rain last night, and the air is fresh, and the sun has
Absolutely.
come out. Yeah, it's nice.
That's great. Anyway, this is just a live chat Q&A. You guys will be able to ask questions in the chat. All you do is just write the word question. It's easy for us to spot. We'll star it, and then we'll get to your questions. And also, I may put up your comments from time to time. And anyway, and the other thing, too, is if you want to super chat a super sticker, you can do that, too. And I see that Love Food Kitchen's in here. He's looking forward to another session with Mofo and Jani. Let's get peeling.
I like that.
I do too. Anyway, let us know where you're watching. We get somebody. I see somebody here from England. I see somebody here from Michigan, Austin, Texas. Let's see who else here. Lara FM is in the house. Where's she at?
My
Let me put her up
girl.
there. Oh, you just put her up there, and then I
I
took
just
her
put
down.
it
There
up
she is.
there.
Hey, Lara,
Yeah.
how you doing? It's good to see you here. Hope you're doing well.
Yep. I've got to get with her and schedule doing another show with her.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. We're coming up on Thanksgiving this week here in the United States. So we want to wish everybody happy Thanksgiving if you live in the United States. And then somebody's asking here, Love Food Kitchen. There's Jani. How's the jet lag from all the traveling? Back to normal now?
Yeah, pretty much back to normal. Doing much better.
How was it when you
Yeah.
first got back?
Oh man, I was so thrown off, and I'd have sleepless nights, and I'd feel tired in the day, but I'm doing better.
Fabulous, fabulous. Just so everybody knows, we are streaming on our channel here, Our Scientology Stories, Peeling the Onion. But we're also streaming on my other channel, which is Mark Fisher's Las Vegas Travel and More. So if you have the capability, open up another window. I would appreciate it if you would stream on there too. It gives me some hours. I've got just over 500 subscribers now in 4 weeks, and so I want to get to 1,000 subscribers, but also get the view hours. You know how that goes too. So anyway, if you want to stream over there, you can as well on our channel there. Which brings me to the first thing I wanted to bring up, which is we're here in Las Vegas, and it's Formula One week here in Las Vegas. The Formula One race is here, and it's a big deal all over the world. It's new to us. We don't really particularly follow Formula One, but they announced this race a few years ago. They signed a 10-year contract here in Las Vegas, and there's been multiple interruptions over the last 6-7 months while they, got the repaving done on Las Vegas Boulevard and built the stands and built the luxury suites for parties and things like that. But I got to tell you, Janice, I don't know if you saw it or not. It looks fabulous at night. The race is going to be tonight at 10 p.m. Pacific time on ESPN in the United States. But it looks fabulous because since it's a night race, they have lights that line the entire course all the way around. It's a little over 3.5 miles. It's one of their longest courses. And then they're driving down the Las Vegas Strip at over 220 miles an hour. And the funny thing for me is I drive on those streets all the time, and I go like, I don't drive 220 miles an hour. Have you seen any of it yet, Janice?
No, Formula One is just not my thing, but let everyone just come to town and bring the money. I don't care. But Jackson's come to town, and he was telling me the prices to fly in were outrageous.
Yeah, and the ticket prices are really expensive. Like just to get a grandstand seat's like $1,000, and then like a 3-day pass was $4,000, and then some of these luxury suites or whatever, the suites that they built for partying and stuff like that, there's like $10,000 to get in there, and they're sold out. So it's a big controversy here in Las Vegas because a lot of locals have been inconvenienced, and they're going like, well, is it really worth it? Well, they're claiming that the Formula One race is going to bring in over $1 billion a year in income here to Las Vegas. So we'll see. We had a problem the first night where they ran the race. One of the manhole covers came up and just damaged the car, and they had to suspend the rest of the practice because they had to make sure the track was safe. But I saw the qualifying last night. It was fabulous. And tonight's going to be the race. I'm going to videotape it and watch it later. I'm not a fan, but I love seeing Las Vegas at night. So if you want to see a spectacle of lights and show and speed, it doesn't matter if you watch the race or not, just check in on it. And that's the Formula One race. And if you want to, again, like I mentioned before, if you want to subscribe to my channel, Las Vegas Travel and More, it's at M Fisher LV. That's at M Fisher LV, and I would appreciate it if you're already a subscriber to our other channel. It's a fun channel where I interviewed Janis about her cruise and different things like that, and our travels, and I think it'd be a fun channel. So if you're interested, please subscribe to that channel. The next thing I wanted to go over is when you got back, Janis, there you are, back from your cruise. Yeah. How have you been dealing with the backlog and your in basket and everything after you went on that 3-week cruise?
I'm still trying to catch up on my in basket, but there's no pressure, only my own pressure. There's no one cracking the whip on me or anything like that. And I get done what I get done. And if I feel like playing with the dogs, I play with the dogs. And if I feel like going grocery shopping or horse riding, I just go do it. So there is a pile still to handle, but I'll get to it.
That's great. And then we have this comment here from Lenny Freeman: butt scratches and belly rubs to moose and squirrel. It's a Rocky and moose,
Yeah,
right?
that's
Are they
right.
in there? Those are Janice's dogs, for anybody who doesn't know.
Yeah, they're right on the couch next to me, fast asleep. Yeah, they've been good boys.
That's good. Yeah, they're good dogs. They're good dogs. Okay, great. So we did that. Go ahead.
I went to my son's yesterday, and his wife has a little Chihuahua who's like, I look at it and it's like it's a mouthful for moose.
Well, particularly the way they tear apart your stuffed animal toys that you buy them, right? How long does it take them to go through a lamb chop, which is a stuffed animal? How long does that take?
1 hour. But I got 2 ducks the other day that I gave him, and they're doing pretty good with these ducks. They're crackly. Yeah, they're crackly rather than filled with white stuffing.
Yeah, I can't give Misha would tear apart toys like that too. Like I keep this one, my Mr. Bill up here. It's she would love to play with this, but it would be destroyed in 2 seconds. And that's I get her the hard rubber toys and stuff, and she likes that a lot better. Anyway. Okay, the other thing that we did a video here, Janis, which is Hubbard's solution for planet Earth. That was kind of a fun. Tell people what that was about. Well, what did we do?
Yeah, well, one of our viewers sent me a video of the history of the Sea Org done by Wally Burgess, who was one of the original Sea Org members. I think he did it around 2007. So we did a showing of that and went through it and did our own commentary as we went through. I enjoyed that. That was fun.
Yeah, it was fun. And when we're kind of tongue in cheek when we say Hubbard's solution for planet Earth, because basically at the end he says the purpose of the Sea Organization is to deliver the operating Thetan level safely and to get in ethics on this planet, right? And I don't think they're doing too good of a job, in either.
No,
way. What about?
They need to get ethics in on their chairman of the board. So the ethics goes in below them, and then they can get on with their job. But until that ethics is put in on the chairman of the board, they got no luck.
Exactly. That's for sure. And then Tuesday night, I moderated a show with Karen Della Carriere, Jeffrey Augustine, and Mitch Brisker, and we talked about David Miscavige behind the curtain. And it was actually good timing because Mitch Brisker had just been featured in the Daily Mail in the UK about his book that's coming out here in another week or so. And he was the last person who was with Miscavige, most recently, like up until about 2019, whatever. And so we wanted to compare notes about, well, what's Miscavige like? I mean, I knew him when I worked for him, but that was 33 years ago. And so it was a good video, regarding Miscavige and where he's at now. Janis, did you get a chance to watch?
I've watched part of it. I haven't managed to watch all of it. That's part of my backlog of things to catch up on.
Anyway, so that was a good video, and we're going to do another show, I think, on Tuesday night live with Karen and all them. So anyway, just wanted to mention that. And what else have we got here? That's it for right now. Janis, one of the things, go ahead. Do you want to say something?
No, well, you might be bringing it up yourself right now.
Yeah, I was going to say, one of the things we wanted to talk about today on this is basically an open question and answer period. You guys can ask us questions. But one of the things we wanted to announce is that on our channel, Our Scientology Stories, Peeling the Onion, we're going to feature businesses or actually successful former Sea Org members or former Scientologists that have started businesses, and so that people that are watching our channel can, help and support them as need be. Right, Janis?
Yes, right, Mark.
Okay.
Yeah.
So go ahead. Go ahead. Say more than that.
Okay. So we're going to start it off with my business, Outback Naturals, which is a supplement company. So we'll cover that another time when we do this. But other people who are out there, please let us know if you're interested in us talking about your success after you leave the Sea Org or Scientology, or if you have a successful business and what you did to do that, or when you left, how did you go about getting a job that you're still doing, or, because there's lines of work that you can do in Scientology, in the Sea Org, and then when you come out, you can get a similar job. Or if it's like me or Mark, you come out and you have no real abilities, but you can type. And but we got in the mortgage business because a Scientologist who had been declared had offered us work and would train us in the mortgage business. So there's different things like that I feel that discussing this in an open forum and interviewing people will help other people, see what their calling is and give them success and make it easier for them to get along in life. There is the aftermath that helps a lot of people, but sometimes you're on your own or you're in a small group and you just need to go, hey, let's do something together. But we want to promote that and help the community. And that's why we're going to do this.
Yeah, and we're not going to charge. This is free. This is going to be totally free. We've got almost 10,000 subscribers, which, by the way, please subscribe to our channel. We're almost at 9,500. We're 9,460. But anyway, but no, we have a forum, and we'd like to use that forum to help people who have a business and want to make it known. So what you guys can do is you can email me at messengerondutymf@gmail.com. That's messengerondutymf@gmail.com. And just if you're interested in talking to us about putting your we'll do a separate videos for these businesses. They're not going to be like hour-long videos. They're going to be 10, 15-minute videos, talk about their products, talk about their services, whatever it is. And then if any of our viewers would like to partake and help those people out in terms of using their services or buying things, it's just another way for us to help and to reach out. So anyway, that's how you reach us, messengerondutymf@gmail.com.
Yeah, because I would like to point out, like, we brought up my daughter's product. She has a CBD lotion, a salve, which helps with pain. And we brought it up and promoted it, and she started getting all sorts of increase in business. And that's when I suddenly went, wait a minute, we can help people with this.
Yeah.
So So if you need help, or even if you don't need help and you want to help others, get their feet off the ground, then let us know and let's do this.
Yeah, and it'll be a regular feature on our channel as we do these videos. There won't be lives; there'll be videos that we put out, and hopefully, it will help people, get business or get jobs or do whatever. You know what I mean? Which brings us to our next subject we wanted to talk to you about, and then we're going to go to questions. Is Janis, what's it like what was it like when you and I left Scientology and this organization? It was a lot different from what I recall. There was no internet, there were no cell phones, so it was much more difficult to find each other and to find jobs and all. So go ahead and what was your question you wanted to raise for people to comment on?
What was my question?
About what do you do when you get out?
Oh yeah, what do you do when you get out? You get out.
Janis is still a bit jet lagged.
You get out. Well, you actually first, before you get out, you're hesitant to get out because you don't know what to do. And you don't know that you can contact people, that there's people who are under the radar. You just don't know. And you think that all your friends who have already left the Sea Org, you can't go to them because they're suppressive persons. And if you join them or talk to them, you'd be a suppressive person yourself. And there goes your eternity. And all those years that you've dedicated to Scientology will become worthless. And so when I got out, I remember I contacted my brother, and he was my one exception. Okay, it'll be okay if I contact my brother. That's my brother. And then we're at the beach, and his mother-in-law, who's a declared SP, shows up. And I'm like, oh my God, I shouldn't be here talking to her. She's an SP. Not even thinking that I'm about to be declared. But these are thoughts that go through your head.
Right.
And then it's like, oh boy, when I get back in good stand, I'm going to have to get this off that I talked to this SP when I first left. But now I just don't care. And after you peel the onion a little of 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, it doesn't matter. These are people. These are your friends. They're not evil. They're living their life, enjoying their life. They're there. And if you need help, they're there for you. Whether they're declared an SP or not, they are there for you. And that's what counts. You have people you can count on, even though when you first leave, you don't know you can count on them. So there's people out there who think I'm an SP and they don't know they can count on me, but I'll tell you, you can. So if you need help.
Janis, yeah. And then Janis, how many people, how many people did we help? We had, this is before the internet. Again, we had this gentleman who helped us get into the mortgage business, and we had no idea what a mortgage even was. Right. But then we started you made contact with many people, starting with Kenny Lipton and other ex-Sea Org members, people who left, Jeff Walker, Jan Sims, Gene and Cheryl Detcheff. And we said, come to Las Vegas and, we'll get you started in the mortgage business too, right?
Yeah. And because we knew they might not have had special skills of the real world, but we knew they were all good people and had a good heart. And so if we could help them get their feet on the ground, that would help make our group stronger and help us all expand. And that is what happened. And yes, I just started contacting people, going through white pages, calling information, because there was no internet. There was no Facebook. There was no search for people and that type of thing. But, and I would just think, who would they go to? Anyway, it was a good thing we did, because we formed a strong group here in Vegas, and we all, did well, and we succeeded. And we can help other people do that as well.
And that was despite the fact that we were infiltrated by Scientology, the first Scientology infiltration by the future private investigator, Dave LeBeau, who basically came to be hired by the company we were working at in the first few months that we were out, right, Janis?
Yeah. And Dave LeBeau comes in wanting to learn to be a loan officer. With our good heart, we're like, sure, we're going to help anybody. And we're training to be a loan officer, and he's not closing loans. And it's like, what's this guy doing? And that's when I asked another mortgage broker who was friends with us. I said, hey, is Dave bringing deals to you? Because he's not closing anything with me. And that's when he says to me, oh, you didn't know? He's a private investigator, and he's here in Las Vegas on a case. And I go, oh, ding, ding, ding. We're the case.
That's right. And that was a while after we got there. When he first came in, we were friendly. I mean, he moved into the same apartment complex as us. Where's your wife and kids? Oh, they're in California. I'm just getting set up here in advance. So he moved into the same apartment complex. There was a racquetball court there in so Fernando, and that's Terry's husband, and Paul and we would play racquetball with him. And then we told him about what we used to do. We started disseminating. We gave him the Dianetics book to read, if I remember correctly. And we started telling him that and all that. But turns out, we found out years later from Marty Rathbun after he left that Miscavige was getting all the information from Dave LeBeau, and that he was loving hearing about what we were doing, because he found out that, we weren't upset with Hubbard or Scientology at the time. We were upset with David Miscavige. So that meant, keep it going. So they kept spying on us for years. Yeah. But meanwhile, Janis, you and your husband and Terry, and y'all got, worked hard and made it happen, and and eventually bought the company and went from there, right?
Yeah, we did. And it was just that the team sticking together. We outdid anything that the PIs could throw at us.
That's right.
So yeah, it was great.
Speaking of getting people together, I want to give a tribute to a friend of ours who passed away a little over a week ago, and his name is Mick Wenlock, and this is that's a photograph of Mick there on the left with his wife Nancy when they got married in 1978. He was a former Scientologist and Sea Org member, and that's Mick on the right. He was an amazing guy. He was from England, and he got in Scientology and became a senior executive in the Sea Organization in Europe, and then also in the Sea Organization at Flag and in Clearwater. But the thing that after he left, and his story is horrific, him and his wife's story is horrific regarding what happened to them in terms of them being kicked out with their son. But anyway, Mick is the one who started up the XSO chat room. It was confidential on Yahoo back in 2005, 2006. And I'll never forget it, Janis, because we hadn't reached out really to anybody except for the people who came to us to work, right? But there were lots of, like you said, there's lots of Sea Org members and Scientologists. You don't know if they're going to talk to you or not. Well, Mick's forum, I remember asking you, Janis, you said, hey, there's this forum, and a friend of ours, you mentioned, I won't mention her name, and she said we should get involved with it. And I said, do you think we should? And you said, yeah. So we got on there, and we thought it was confidential, but of course it was infiltrated by Scientology eventually, and they knew everybody that was on there. But Mick is the one who started that up, and he got how many people I reconnected with? I can't even count them all, and I'm sure it was the same for you too, right, Janis?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. No, he was very instrumental in pulling everyone together, that you go, oh my God, I didn't know they'd left. And that way, with his website, you found out who had left, and the community became even larger and larger and more helpful to each other through that.
Yeah, and this is one of the places where Mark Headley is blown for good, was posting the information about the international base, under the name Blown for Good. Nobody knew who he was, but it was all, you could tell. I mean, when we read those posts, we went, absolutely, he's speaking the truth, because we could tell that, this person Blown for Good had actually been at the base because of the things he was talking about. So anyway, I just wanted to say, rest in peace, Mick. You did an amazing job on this, and your wife is amazing, and we're all better for having you in our lives, and we'll miss you.
Yes, I agree. He was a great guy, and definitely will be missed within the ex-Sea Org Scientology community.
Exactly. Okay, we're going to go to questions now. If you have a question, please, like I said before, I just knocked my computer. Sorry about that. Write the word question, and it makes it easier for us to go do that. Janice, if you'll go into the starred questions, I'll keep alive on the live.
Okay.
And you can go ahead and start putting them up, and then I'll read them. First one's from I Want to Be a SP. Question: are either of you still being fair gamed, i.e., private investigators? I don't know, to be honest with you. The last time that I knew what was going on was 2009, after we spoke out in the Truth Rundown in the St. Petersburg Times, but we outed my spy, Ferris Khan. But then they also came after. Yeah, well, no, it was before that, 2006, 2007. They were coming after us, but I haven't really noticed anything. Have you, Janice?
No, I haven't noticed anything, but I do have a lot of people that could be paid friends, but I really don't care anymore. Actually, I never cared before, but yeah.
And the only other thing that happens is that you'll see trolls in the chat now that there's no moderator on these chats anymore, and they're OSA trolls, and they'll come in and they'll put up rude comments and try and put up falsehoods and things. And that's the only attacks really and we don't care about it. We just remove them. Okay. Because they're just trying to upset me, upset Janice, and upset the people that are in here. So we just remove them and ignore them. Because like Janice said, I could care less anymore. You know what I mean? I just don't really care. Anyway.
Yeah. It's like the last time they tried to Komev me, and I refused to show up for the Komev, and they're like, well, if you don't show up for the Komev, you're going to be declared a suppressive person. And I'm like, then declare me. You get to a point you just don't care, and they have no effect on you.
That's right. I'm going to put this up here. Super chat.
Sorry.
Hold on. Sorry about that. We're overlapping here. Super chat just came up from Frenchy Irish. Janice, I love your earrings. Also, I purchased your daughter's CBD cream, and it works beautifully.
Yes, it does, doesn't it? And thank you. My husband got me these earrings many years ago. But
Thanks
yes,
very
that
much
CBD cream does work wonders. It's great.
Yeah, and it's a cream that you can put on anywhere that you've got some inflammation or pain, right, Janice?
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes I get a little pain in this knuckle here, and I just put the lotion on, and it goes away. And then you're not irritated.
If anybody's interested right now, what do you remember her? Isn't it healingbyoracle.com?
Yeah. Yes.
It's the website is healingbyoracle, all one word.com, and that's Janice's daughter's website, Erin Grady, and you can order it there. Anyway, go ahead. Next question,
Yes.
Jan.
Or if you need the link, just let me know, and just email me at janisgilhamgrady@gmail.com, and I'll send it to you.
Great. Vernon Salvatierra, question, Janice, did you go to Scientology org in Portugal, Spain, or Morocco when you were on your trip? I'm sure that's what they're talking about.
No, I don't even know if there are any orgs in those places anymore.
Well, they have the ideal org in Madrid, but you weren't in Madrid. You were in Barcelona.
No, I was in the south part of Spain. Yeah.
Yeah. But you did go to some of the places that you went to when you were on the flagship Apollo in the 1970s in Morocco,
yes.
Right?
Yes. Well, in Portugal, I went to Lisbon, where we used to go a lot. And I went to Agadir and Casablanca. Those were ports we used to go to a lot, and Cadiz. And yeah, that was it. We were supposed to go to Valencia, but there was a storm, so the port was closed. So I couldn't go there. But I did get to go to some of my old stomping grounds.
Okay, and then Blow Drill, we know who he is. How you doing, Blow Drill? Rest in peace, Paul Grady. That was Janis's husband, a good human that stood ahead above the rest with integrity and stature. Right, Janis?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, we're coming up on almost
Yeah.
2 years that he's been gone, right? It's coming up soon.
Yeah, December 30th, it'll be 2 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're going to be doing a episode on the free winds, and he was the main person. He ran all the missions that actually found the free winds and got it renovated and got it ready for the maiden voyage. And that was a big job that he did on that with no recognition. He never even got to go visit the free winds. But anyway, we're going to cover that in a few days or next week and give him some recognition for what he accomplished.
Absolutely. Thanks, Blow Drill. We appreciate that. All right, next question. Oh, okay. It is already up here. Vernon Salvatierra again. Question mark. Have you gone to the Vegas org lately? If you went inside, would they know who you are? I have not been lately. I've driven by that area recently, and the parking lot, it's a big parking lot. It was almost empty. And it's in the most remote part of Las Vegas in a neighborhood. It's an old Jewish temple. And it's in a neighborhood. It's not even near a commercial area. And literally, if you didn't have GPS, I would be hard pressed to give you directions as to how to find it. If I went inside, would they know me? If whoever's there is sharp enough, I'm sure they have photographs of us to let them know that these SPs are in Las Vegas. But I wouldn't do that. I don't, I don't have anything against those staff that are in there. And I don't want to cause them any trouble or anything like that. But I did post a photograph of Mark Headley a few years ago. I took him there. We went to go look at it after it opened up, and he went in there and got a photograph taken, and I was too chicken.
Well, I went there before the Scientology purchased it because a friend got married there, and it was on a dead-end street. So when I heard they'd purchased it, I was like, that is so against any Hubbard policy on where an org's supposed to be located. Where's the foot traffic on a dead-end street in a neighborhood? The foot traffic is someone walking their dog. But I sent when my dad had passed away and I was cleaning out his garage, he had all these basic books that they had gotten him to buy. You're talking tens of thousands of dollars of books sitting in his garage in boxes from when Miscavige did his golden era of tech and let's redo everything Hubbard. Anyway, so I had my daughter take them down because I was like, maybe we can get a tax write-off. So she took them down there. And the first time she goes down there, they give her an invoice, a receipt for them. The second time, they kind of question her about whose they were. And she's like, these were my grandfather's. And then the next time she shows up, they take the books from her and then refuse to give her a receipt because of her connection to my father, Peter Gillham, and to me. and she's never been in Scientology, but they made her drop everything off and have her sit down and then refuse to give her a receipt after they had it all. Anyway, makes me kind of laugh.
Hey, Amy Scobie's in the house. Hi, Amy. Welcome back, Janis. Sending love. XOXO.
Hey, Ames. Hey, I'm going to see you in January. I'm looking forward to that.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Glad to have you, Amy.
Okay.
I think she's one of the. I think I met her. She's one of the first people I met when I was in Clearwater. I mean, there were a few, but I mean, we both ended up in Clearwater in 1978 or whatever, 79, and that's how long I've known Amy. Anyway, next question.
All right. Janis, was your husband in Scientology? Yes, he was. He got into Scientology in 1977, and he came to Clearwater in 1978. And that's when I met him, when he was an expediter, and I was there on a mission, and he had to go and bring me folders and things. And that's when I met him and thought how cute he was. And then Then the next time I was back in Clearwater, Granny Broker was the commanding officer of the flag service org, and I needed an escort to go to the other building, so she called Paul to come and specifically walk me over to the other building because she was doing a little matchmaking there. And then when he was the Purify C, the different celebs that knew my mom, they were then trying to matchmake us. Anyway, we finally got married in November 1980 while in the Sea Org, and we left in August 91. So we were married 11 years in the Sea Org before we left, and had kids. And then I've been out now for 32 years, and he was out for 30. We were married 41 years before he passed away.
And I'll add to this story. These are funny stories. When I was married in the Sea Org to Janis's friend Julie, who was also a messenger, when they moved us off the base in Gillham Hot Springs into Hemet, into apartment complexes, Janis, her husband Paul, and me and my wife Julie, we shared a 2-bedroom apartment in Hemet. And the bedroom was so small, my wife and I decided, well, we'll just live in the living room. So we had our king-size bed in the living room. And Paul, I think, was he on mission or was he in the RPF at the time? Because it was really just you in the back room, right?
Yeah, he was in the RPF. Yeah, the Rehabilitation Project Force. So yeah, I'd just walk in and you guys had
nothing.
Barriers up there. You had barriers up there.
No, there was like a pony wall that separated off the little kitchen area thing, right? Yeah. It was like a half wall. And then so we were in there, but it didn't really make any difference. We kind of slept at the same time. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And the closet kind of blocked it off. And then we turned the extra room that was supposed to be your bedroom. That became the lounge, the living room, and we had a TV and a couch in there.
Yeah, because you had a VCR, because we weren't allowed to have televisions, but you could own a VCR, videotape machine, so we could watch movies in there. That was kind of a luxury that we had. But then, of course, when we left the Sea Org, Janis and Paul and Janis's sister, we all connected up here in Las Vegas, and we shared a 2-bedroom apartment here in Las Vegas with Paul and Janis in one bedroom, Janis's sister Terry and her husband Fernando in the other, and me on the pull-out couch in the living room. So I'm used to sleeping in the living room. Anyway, thanks for that question, Vernon. I'm ready for the next one.
Okay, there it is.
Mr. Neifart, exactly COB isn't even part of the church. It's the IAS and the Church of Spiritual Technology. I don't understand that comment. I mean, he is the chairman of the board of RTC, Religious Technology Center.
Yeah, that would be in response to me saying that they need to get ethics in at the top, starting with COB.
Okay. All right. Thanks for that. Vernon again. Question. In all the years that you knew Hubbard, did he show signs of having dementia, Janis?
No. No, not that I remember or recognized. He actually had a very good memory. He would remember different policy letters, and he'd go, get me the policy letter that says blah, 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 blah. I'm like, gee. I'd go to Ken Irk and I'd say, Ken, he wants the policies that says blah, 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 blah. And Ken amazingly would go, oh, it's, and he'd pull out the volume and look it up, and here it is. He was very good.
Yeah, and then also realize that the last 6 years of his life, he was gone, in hiding. So Janis, you never saw him those last 6 years, and that's when he declined. He had strokes after that, and which we found out years later, and so he declined after the last time you saw him.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, I'm going to put up another super chat here from Calico26. Thanks very much. It's very generous of you. Did Shelley have a mind of her own, or did she just follow L. Ron Hubbard and Dave's orders blindly? From your experience, Janis, go ahead.
Blindly. Shelley did have a mind of her own, but it didn't go. It didn't work with everybody else's minds.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I just was going to say, look, we despise what's the condition that Shelley's in and whatever's happening to her right now. She should have the freedom to do that. But I don't think it's any secret, Janis, that you and I did not really care for Shelley when we were in the Sea Organization in terms of her doing her job and her posts. Now, she was a nice enough person and all that, but she was hard to get along with when you were trying to do your job. And that was my experience of working with her for 6 years. Of course, you knew her a lot longer than that, right?
Yeah, she was very moody, and that's what made her hard to get along with. And then when she started working with Dave, she would take his orders and put them on a time machine and expect you to get them all done. And he might have just made a comment about something, and she's written it down as an order. And then the next thing you know, she's got it on this rotation system where you're getting chitted every time you don't get Dave's order done. And it's like being nagged at when you're working on bigger priorities. I might be working on, the Free Winds release or the release of something, and then I'm getting an order to go get the pathway cleaned, when that's not the priority. So she couldn't think with priorities and what should be done when, and would just throw these little orders out at you. It drove everyone nuts.
Yeah, and it's the same. It was my experience too. Now, she could be nice and all that, and like I said, we don't like what's happening to her. But she also was an enabler for Miscavige while I was working for him, and from what I've heard afterwards, this whole writing down everything he says and making sure that these things get done, and carrying around a first aid kit when he beats somebody up. I mean, that's an enabler. You know what I mean? And
yes.
At some point, they had whatever problem they had, and she's not around. But I don't wish that on anybody, and I hope that she gets out. But the notion that she could be in charge of Scientology, not just me and
Never.
Janis, but anybody who was a senior executive in the Sea Organization who is now out, they all agree there's no way that she could do that. It just was above her capability.
And even if she had tried to start a coup, I don't think anyone would have followed her because she was not a leader.
Right. Right, exactly. Okay, we've got another super chat here. Dr. Juan Lee, how you doing? Thank you so much. That's very generous of you. I love what you both do. Keep it up. Janis, have you been back to Australia recently? The Brisbane org gets foot traffic because of the really good sushi place next door. So deceptive. Went in and no one was there.
They're all going in for sushi. The last time I was in Australia was 2019, and I was scheduled to go back May 2020. I was going to do a cruise from Darwin to the Kimberleys to Broome, and then COVID hit, so I had to cancel all that. And then I was also going to Brisbane, and I was going to go up to Townsville and see family up there out in towards Charters Towers. Anyway, I now have to rebook, so I will get to that. And Brisbane is that's my favorite town, I think, in the world. I love Brisbane. And if I had to move anywhere but Las Vegas, I would be in Brisbane.
Also, didn't you take your dad back on that trip before he passed away? I mean, like a few years before he passed away, right? But
yeah.
He got to go back.
In 2017, we took him back for his 90th birthday. And that was fun, going around to where he was born and his old stomping grounds and so forth. And then in 2019, we took him back to visit his brother before his brother passed away.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks very much,
so that was
Dr.
fun.
Z.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. Vernon again. Question, Mark and Janis, did both of you have a strong belief against psychiatry? Have they changed now? When I was a Scientologist, yeah, I mean, we were told they were public enemy number one. I have not been involved in any kind of psychiatry or psychiatrist or counselor since I left 32 years ago. My belief has changed because if it helps somebody, more power to them. It's just not been something for me that I wanted to get involved with. And I'll tell you the biggest reason why is that I find it hard. Like, I don't want to pay a doctor or a counselor to explain to them everything about Scientology before they start getting into helping me if that's what I need. I didn't need it, but I was like, anytime I talk to anybody, you know, who has no idea of what Scientology is about, you've got to indoctrinate them in what it was like and what you did and what Hubbard was and the whole bit. And I found that, you know, I was afraid of finding counselors that they had no idea what it was involved with it. So anyway, that was my answer to that. How about you, Janis?
Yeah, my view has changed. But as Mark said, I have no experience with psychiatry or psychology or anything like that. So yeah, if it helps someone, it helps someone, and I'm not going to stop it. Just like Scientology, if it helps somebody, it helps somebody. That's what they feel helped them, then so be it. Who am I to say otherwise?
Right. The only thing that we like to do is we want to make sure, though, that any abuses of Scientology or anything, that people check it out before they get involved with anything, because, you know, people are free to live their lives the way they want to live them. If they want to follow religion,
Right.
if they want to get counseling, if they want to get whatever, they're free to do that in this society, right? But it's buyer beware. Please make sure that you investigate and get your questions answered before you ever get involved in anything like that. Because I've had opportunities to get involved in other things, so other organized religions and things like that, and they just weren't for me. You know, I hate to say this, but it's like I've seen organized religion through Scientology, right? I don't like it. You know what I mean? It always seems to me that it's about controlling whoever the people are that are involved with it. And I'd much rather be independent and on my own. I'm very spiritual. I believe in God and all that, but I do it in my own way. And that's just been my experience. And it's not to judge anybody else's, but that's what I have to say on that.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm against the abuse, and I'm against the control of the people that are in Scientology and taking away their own freedoms when Scientology was supposed to be about freeing them. And that's not happening. They're being abused and they're being suppressed and not able to make decisions for themselves.
Exactly. Okay. Ready for the next question? Michael Winsop question: what is this stuff about AA Ron and request to have him step down from MI is AF? Is that the Aftermath Foundation?
Yes.
I don't know. I have no idea about that. Do you, Janis?
No, I'm not kept in those. I'm not briefed.
Yeah, no, we're not involved. I mean, we support the Aftermath Foundation, but we're not on the board of directors or anything like that. And I
Right.
don't even actually know if his status has changed. It's just something that we just don't have any information on.
Yeah, we just don't get involved in that.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, next question. I want to be an SP. Question: you two are the OG SPs to speak out. How does it feel to see all the activity in the past 18 months? I think it's fantastic. You know what I mean? I mean, literally, it's like almost like we're piling on now. You know what I mean? I hate to say it. OSA and Miscavige, they don't know where to look. There's so many channels that are going after them. There's so many people telling their stories. It's all over the place. I mean, if Hubbard was alive and this was going on, he'd be having a fit. Okay, he would not like it whatsoever, and he'd be doing what he could to stop it or he'd try and figure out what was causing it, and then he'd try and solve it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Miscavige is just a fighter, and he's just barreling along, you know what I mean? But I think it's having a cumulative effect, and if anything, it's getting the word out there so that people think twice about getting involved with Scientology because of all the information that's out there. How about you, Janis?
Yeah. I'd have to say, if Hubbard had a grave, he wouldn't just be rolling in it. He would be spinning in it. He'd be so pissed off with what Miscavige has done.
Exactly. Okay, next question. Sarah Wynn question: since your main reason for leaving was issues with DM, how long was it before you stopped believing in the tech? Well, for me, it was when I read the book by Russell Miller, Barefaced Messiah, in 1993. It was about 3 years after I left. And I started questioning Hubbard and started looking at it. It takes time. We call our channel Peeling the Onion because that's really what it is. I still believe in a lot of the concepts and things that I learned in Scientology, but I found out that a lot of them didn't even come from Scientology. They're older wisdom than that. So I still apply them and I still follow them because they worked for me. But as far as like getting counseling or processing or anything like that in Scientology, I haven't picked up the can since I left in 1990. How about you, Janis?
Yeah, I haven't picked up the can since I left in August 1990. As Mark said, there is stuff I do believe in, and there is stuff that came away from me as my onion peeled. But it doesn't happen right away. It takes time. Maybe after 4 years, things start, wait a minute, as you're living life and learning different things. Because you got to remember, I was born into Scientology. So I really had no other comparison in life except for growing up with people doing TRs or touch assists and contact assists and auditing and ethics handlings, so that's what I grew up with. And then suddenly I'm in a world where I don't have that crutch anymore. And that's what it was. I realized I was using Scientology or having a session as a crutch to get through life in the Sea Org because of the abuse that was going on.
Exactly. And then it's much different now because we had no internet. Like I said before, we're old. So we didn't get, now you can go right on and, let me click on the internet and Google search Scientology and Miscavige and you get all the dirt, So anyway,
yeah.
It took time. Anyway, thanks very much.
I'm so old that when kids will say, "What's AOL?" because I still have an AOL email.
Me too. I have a Hotmail email address. It's the same thing. It's like crazy. Anyway,
Yeah.
Thanks very much. We've got a super sticker here from Stephanie Estabrook. Thank you so much. It's really nice of you. Appreciate you both so much. Thank you. We appreciate you all watching. We appreciate everybody that's in the chat and everybody that's watching the channel.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Janis. Question, single loner. Janis, did you ever meet Judy Resnick?
No, you'd have to tell me who she is or where she was, but that name doesn't ring a bell. Sorry.
Okay. And then I'm going to put this up here. This just came up from Penko. Thanks very much for the super sticker. We appreciate it. Can you post the links for us? Why no moderator? There was a moderator, Goldie, and she moderated for all the channels. And I actually don't know why she decided to step away from doing that. So we don't have a moderator. And she used to put up all the links and stuff. But, I don't know. The links that I can tell you about are the ones that, like I said before, if you want to subscribe to my channel, my other channel, you just go to @mfisherlv for my Las Vegas travel and more. And that's the link that you go to there. Anyway, Janis, did you have any comment on this?
Yeah, I think our moderator got abused and she just couldn't. It was terrible from what I'd heard.
Yeah, and
it was totally
I think
unnecessary.
And I think OSA had something to do with it behind the scenes. That's just my guess, The thing is that they try to attack people and then notice now that there's no moderator, we get trolls in here. And that's one of the things the moderator used to keep out. I think there's some other people, though, that want to moderate, and we've been contacted by one of them. So we'll see how that goes. Thank you very much, Penko. Next question. Sorry, Janis.
Oh.
I just knocked that down. Sorry. There we go. Betsy Sue, how you doing, Betsy Sue? She was one of our winners, Janis.
Okay.
Yeah. Question at Mark, is that a pic of you with John Travolta in Going Clear? I think, are you talking about the picture on the intro video? No, that picture of me with John Travolta is from when we did the Road to Freedom music album right after L. Ron Hubbard died. And that was the release party that we had in Hollywood. And I had worked with John Travolta on that album and got that picture taken. It was so anyway. It's one of the few pictures I was allowed, or I got out of Scientology because they took everything else. Anyway, go ahead, Janis.
Yeah, they did with me too.
Vernon again, question mark. Are there any Scientology-owned restaurants or casinos in Vegas? Not that I'm aware of. How about you, Janis?
No, I don't know of any.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, they serve rice and beans, I'm sure. Shelley, question. Was Shelley Miscavige a true Shelley or a Michelle posing as a Shelley? She was Michelle, right, Janis?
Michelle.
Barnett?
Yes, Michelle. And then we just called her Shelley. And then we had another Michelle. So we had a Shelley and a Michelle.
Yeah.
Just like we had a Dave and a David.
That's right. And then that became DR and DM. That's how DM got his initials.
Exactly.
David Rousseau and David Miscavige. So that's how he became DM. I want to be an SP question. Have you seen The Master, and how close was it to early L. Ron Hubbard? I have seen The Master. That's a movie that was done by Paul Thomas Anderson. It starred Philip Seymour Hoffman as a character just like L. Ron Hubbard in the 1950s. And another great actor, Jesse Plemons, played Nibs in the thing. And Amy Irving, what's her name? Can't remember her name, but anyway, really good actress, played Mary Sue character. Okay. They didn't call them those names. They were different, but yeah, I did watch it. And from what I understand, it was very representative of what Hubbard was like in the 1950s. But again, it was a piece of fiction. It was, it wasn't necessarily a biography or anything like that. Have you seen it, Janis?
Nope. Never seen it, because I was going to watch it. And then someone started telling me the story and I'm like, well, that's wrong. That's wrong. And I was like, why should I watch something like that? So I never saw it.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks very much. Next question.
I know the truth.
Amy Adams. Thank you. In the chat, Linda Golan. Thank you. A member of our channel. It was Amy Adams played Mary Sue's character. Anyway, go ahead. David Fennick. Question, Janis. Was there truth to the stories about the chain locker on the Apollo being used as ethics treatment?
Yes, most definitely. And I tell some of the stories in my book. But my dad was in 1968. My dad was put in the chain locker and just fed bread and water. And there was many other people that went to the chain locker. I don't think I'll give names unless they want it done. Right. But yeah, they were. And there was even a young boy. He was probably, I always thought he was 4, maybe 6, and another girl who was 6 years old because she was a suppressive person. But yes, it was definitely used as ethics treatment and just pure cruelty.
And just so you know, if you're interested in more stories and more details, you can get Janis's book, Commerce Messenger, Book 1, A Childhood Rift in the Scientology Sea Organization. That's Book 1, and there's a Book 2. That's Janis walking with L. Ron Hubbard on the Apollo when she was, 12 or 13 years old, right, Janis?
Yeah, probably about 13.
Yep. Yeah. And it's got great photographs. It's got great details. So if you're interested in ordering that, you can get an autographed copy. Just go down below the comment section down there and you can click on it and order it from our merchandise store, and Janis will autograph it to you and send it out. So anyway,
yes,
wanted to mention that. Okay, next question. Sorry. Parallel Jen, question, Janis, were your parents Scientologists?
Yes, they were in Scientology before I was born and before my sister was born. I think my brother, who's 3 years older than me, was probably maybe 3-4 months old when they got into Scientology back in 1953. And they ended up having their own Scientology franchise. And later on, they both worked at St. Hill in England, and both were in the Sea Org. My father got out very early after he did the chain locker stint. He was like, this is not for me. There's something wrong with me. But my kids are doing well, so let me go off and try and find myself. So, and my mother started Celebrity Center. She was on the original Class 8 course, and she was out in Los Angeles and I'm starting Celebrity Center. And I actually I've put photos together for that, and I have to schedule with some original Celebrity Center staff members doing an interview on that to show how Celebrity Center was originally started. Not how Scientology tells the story, but the truth of how it really started.
Okay, thanks for that question. I'm going to put up a super chat here. Sam Slade, of the following people, thank you very much, Sam, for the super chat. We appreciate it. Of the following people, Ray Medoff, Mark Yeager, Guillaume Lasserve, and others, who would you think most likely to be Miscavige's replacement? Go ahead, Janis.
Well, you got to remember, I've been gone for 32 years. So from the information from when I was in there, Mark Yeager was the best senior I'd ever had. And Ray Medoff, not a strong personality. And Guillaume was a good guy and worked, but he listened too much to DM and allowed DM to overpower him. But he was a really good guy and a good senior. I watched him build Europe, and I watched him with the exec strata because I did a mission in there and worked with him. But the best person at that time when I was there would have been Mark Yeager.
Yeah, and I agree with you. Again, it's 33 years later, but the problem with Yeager and also Guillaume and Ray is that they were under Miscavige's thumb. They basically were brown nosers. They basically were afraid, and he kept them in fear. And it got worse after we left, from what we've heard in stories, because Miscavige just wanted to control them. But Yeager was the one who was probably the best one administratively to take over. And I think he would have worked as a team with Guillaume as the executive director international to expand Scientology, and Ray over the technical. I'm telling you, if you believe in Scientology, that would have been a much better way to go. Anyway, Thanks, Sam. We appreciate that. Sorry, I did that again. Go ahead. Amber Vanessa question: what is your favorite food to eat for Thanksgiving? I love turkey, but I also love dressing, but I also love pumpkin pie. So those are my three. How about you, Janis?
Well, I cook it, so I got to eat it. I do enjoy the stuffing that I make, and I cook my turkey with bacon over the top, so it makes it very juicy. And those are probably I like eating the bacon afterwards when it's nice and crispy. Those are my favorite.
I'll tell you an interesting story, though. Janis didn't know how to cook anything when she got out of the Sea Org 32 years ago, and she had to teach herself how to cook a turkey. And guess what? Every year now we go to Janis's for Thanksgiving and have dinner, and she is a wonderful cook.
I spend my Thanksgiving and Christmas cooking for everybody who comes over. We used to have all sorts of people from our mortgage company who had no family, and they'd all come over to Paul's and mine, and I'd do the cooking. And this year, I've decided I'm not cooking on Christmas. I'm going away. So I'll be cooking Thanksgiving dinner, and that'll be my one big hurrah for the year in cooking.
Exactly. Hey, thanks very much for that question, Amber. Next question. One Love 51000 question for Janis. You talk about a lot of good experiences in your childhood. Do you ever feel bad you grew up in Scientology, or are you able to focus on the lovely life you have now?
That's an interesting question. I don't have regrets on how I grew up. It is what it is, and there's nothing I can do to change it. So I create my life as, my lovely life now. I do have a great life. I've got great kids. I got a beautiful granddaughter. I've got good friends. I've got a horse, 2 dogs, and a cat. Do I have any other animals? I think that's it. But so that's what I focus on. And I don't kind of, there are bad things, and there's even times I might think of those bad things and it still affects me. I can get emotional if I think about them. And then I'm not going there. And that's why there are things I haven't talked about. And, just the other day, I got emotional when I was thinking of my mother's secretary answering my letters to me instead of my mother. I got emotional about that. So there are things like that. And, even my mother's death, those are things I don't like to talk about. And as I peel my onion and we do this, I'll get more into it. And maybe talk about it more. But I don't like to stick on the bad stuff. I like to overcome that. It happened, so I got to move on.
Exactly. Thanks very much for that question. Next question. Vernon again, question. What breed is Misha? Is she a good watchdog? My dog, Misha, she is a Siberian Husky. She's 3 years old. And is she a good watchdog? She'll bark at anything she doesn't know that comes up close. She likes to bark, and she's a talker like most Huskies are. But once you get to know her, she's very sweet. Anyway, thank you for that question. Educon question. Thank you for speaking out. Do you both know people who are still in? Well, my ex-wife, that's the only one really that I know, and the people that we used to work with that are still in. But other than that, no, I don't have any connection with anybody. How about you, Janis?
Yeah, I have no connection with them, but my house is open to whether I knew them or not, people who want to leave. But I had close friendships with like Ray Midoff, Mark Yeager, Guillaume Lazev, Julie Catano. There's a lot of people still in there that I knew. That Clarice Barnett, Shelley's sister, Shelley. But if they leave, I'm here for them, whether it was we knew each other closely 30 years ago or not. My door is open.
Exactly. Thank you so much for that question. I want to be an SP again. Question. If you could go back, would you still join Church Scientology or the Sea Organization? No, not for me.
No, definitely not.
Thanks. Single loner. Question, Janis. Why was Ron so afraid of dentists?
Because he didn't want to be put under and be given commands, as in PDH'd, while he was under in a dentist chair.
PDH means implanted. That's what implant. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's, yeah.
Didn't you say
and being on a, what?
No, I was going to say, didn't you say that Kimma eventually got him to go to the dentist? Kimma Douglas, who was one of his head of his household unit, right?
Yes, she did. Because I remember, and I'm not sure if it was in DC when he did it or when they'd moved out to California, but I remember I showed up at where Hubbard was living. It was an apartment complex, and we called it Astra. I showed up at Astra, and I hadn't seen Hubbard since Clearwater when he left Dunedin. And his teeth were all cleaned. All that tobacco tar along the front had all been cleaned, and any work that needed to be done was done. And Kimmer had said she was there with him to make sure no one gave him any bad commands, but he had to be put under to do all the work on his teeth. And that would have been in 1976, 76.
Did you have to wear sunglasses when he smiled because his teeth were all of a sudden so bright white?
I don't wear sunglasses.
Where, Astra, I've never heard of that. Was that down in Culver City? Where was that?
Yeah, Astra. We had what was called Astra and Beta. Astra was where LRH was living when he moved to LA, and Beta was where the messenger relay unit was, which was located in the Guardian's office, external communications, on the 6th floor of the Fifield Manor Celebrity Center building now. And so it was Astra and Beta. That was before, that was the holding point where he lived before. When he moved from DC, he moved to Astra for living in LA. Well, they were purchasing La Quinta, the property in La Quinta, Rifle and Olives and Palms and so forth.
Right, and that was Astra was in Culver City area, wasn't it? Of
yes.
Los Angeles. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Thanks for that question. Next one. Sarah Wynn question. When people started leaving in droves in the mid-2000s and spoke out, were you surprised at how bad it got? Or did you see the writing on the wall that it was likely going to go that way? Well, I'll answer first. I did see the writing on the wall. That's why we left, because I wouldn't have put up with any of it. But I'll never forget Amy Scobie, who was in the chat. I don't know if she's still here. she's the one who told us about the musical chairs and the different
Oh,
abuses that were
yeah.
going on there. And I literally hit the floor. I could not believe it. And, because she said, first thing she said to us, oh, it's a good thing you left when you did because it got a lot worse,
Well, Dan Kuhn said the same thing. He said, oh, you were there in what's considered the good old days. You left in the good old days. It got worse.
Oh, and then we're laughing because it did get worse, but it is
Yeah,
seriously bad.
way.
And trust me, I wouldn't have lasted much longer than when I did go if I had stayed, because I would have never put up with that. If it started to become, Lord of the Flies, beat people up, I would have gone, I'm out of here. Stop that. I'm going to take you to the cops. There's no way I would ever put up with something like that. And when it happened to me, it wasn't long after that I was gone. Anyway.
Yeah, I just watched the freedoms being slowly infringed upon, and then it was like, I'm out of here.
Yeah. All right. Single loaner question mark. Have you been to the Gold and Silver Pawn Stars? Anything COS related? She's talking about the pawn shop down on Las Vegas Boulevard that's on the Pawn Stars TV show. I have not been inside the Gold and Silver Pawn Stars, but I know Rick Harrison and I know Corey. They used to hang out at a bar that I used to go to downtown on 3rd Street called Hogs and Heifers, and really nice guys. I've talked to them several times and all that, but no, I've never been in the Gold and Silver Pawn Shop itself. There's usually a line outside. It's such a tourist spot, Anyway, thanks for that question. Next one from Vernon. Mark, were you married in Scientology? Was your mother able to attend? No, I was married, at the secret base at Gillham Hot Springs, and no, none of my family was able to attend. That just wasn't done. It was a secret location and nobody knew that, so we just sent her an announcement that I got married and some photographs, and that's why I have the photographs from my wedding, is because I sent copies of the photographs to my mother and my grandmother. Otherwise I wouldn't have them because Scientology wouldn't let me take them.
Right.
I want to be an SP. Question. F1 fan here, Mark. Are you going to watch the race? I am going to watch it. 10 o'clock is a little late for me, believe it or not. I'm usually in bed by 9, but I'm going to definitely record it and watch it in the morning if I don't make it up. But I'm looking forward to seeing it. I know nothing about Formula One racing. I just want to see the lights and the spectacle and, all things Las Vegas.
Okay.
Tiny Turtles question. If you had been treated well and paid well in the Sea Org, would you have stayed in Scientology? Well, you're missing the key point, which is the abuses from David Miscavige and the abuses that were going on. So the answer is no, I wouldn't have stayed. In actuality, I was paid well. I was paid much better than most Sea Org members. Because I worked for Miscavige, I got huge bonuses. Janis got bonuses too, not as big as I did, but I was able to amass thousands of dollars in a bank account because we didn't have to spend anything. So I had money when I left, but no, I wouldn't have stayed.
Well, DM was making sure everyone working around him had good bonuses so that he could get incredible bonuses.
Yeah, I have. Sorry, Sam Slay. I'm just, let me take that down for 1 second. I just want to mention my experience. Okay. My experience working for Miscavige and working at the top, I sympathize with all the gold staff and the people that got, no pay and ate rice and beans and all that. That never happened to me. I never had to eat rice and beans. I never missed pay. There was one short, brief period in Clearwater where if you will remember this, Janis, where Hubbard cut all the FPs down, to financial planning down. And I lived off of a jar of peanut butter and jelly and a loaf of bread that I use my pay for, because I was only 17-20 then. And I lived on that for about 6 months. But I was privileged and I was lucky, and it was only because I worked for Miscavige, and that was only because he did not want to live under those conditions. And so I'm not proud of that, but that is what my experience was. And I'm very sorry that happened to other people. Anyway.
Well, Gold was a very under-acknowledged organization. They were like shat on. And I want to tell a story. My brother, before he left, this was in 82. He had been in Treasury for a long time and the purchaser and this and that. And then he was also being LRH accountant and following the investments that Hubbard was doing and making money. So my brother took some money that gold had made and he had invested it rather than leave it in a reserve. He invested it and made more money with it. So from that, he went and got these silver coins made with the golden era emblem on all the coins. And I actually found some that I've got in my safe. And one of these days I'll go dig it out to show you guys what the coin looks like. But my brother, the day before he left, he'd planned out his whole blow. He went around to every gold staff member and gave them one of the coins as an acknowledgement in working on different films and film releases. And no one had ever done that, and they didn't get bonuses or anything. So this was it meant a lot to people. And I kind of laugh with my brother about it every now and again on having the kahunas to do that at that time. But he was leaving the next day, so he didn't care what anyone thought.
Financial irregularities had to go.
Exactly. But it was money from the profit of investments.
Okay, thanks very much. Sam Slade, thank you for the super chat again. Question, was LRH multilingual? Did you ever see or hear of Scientology members learning another language to spread Scientology? Janis?
LRH kind of would say he spoke a little Spanish, but when I heard him talking in Spanish, it was probably the equivalent of what I can use these days, which is just a few words here and there, and I can't even put a sentence together properly. But I would hear him talk to, when we were in Morocco in Tangier, he would use very broken Spanish to talk to one of the Fatimas who was cleaning his house. And pilots, when the pilots would come aboard, he'd say a few words here or there, but it wasn't very conversational Spanish that I would hear. And then I don't know of him ever speaking any other language or even attempting it. As in hearing of Scientology members learning another language to spread Scientology. When we lived in Agadir in 71, Mary Sue had a steward who was French, and Hubbard had her come to where we were living and give the messengers French lessons. So we did a month of French lessons, and that was about it. And that's the only time I know of him telling someone to learn a language. And otherwise, most people who were already bilingual or trilingual or whatever, they already arrived being able to speak the different languages. Like Kathy Kurataki, she spoke 8 languages. And so, of course, she was put in the port captain's office and did ship public relations. And there was other people who had multiple languages. Liz spoke 5 languages. So those people were always very useful. But it wasn't to help spread Scientology. It was to help the ship public relations.
Yeah, and then they had a translations unit, and Amy Scobie's first husband, David Paul, he spoke multiple languages too, and he was very valuable because of that. And she'll tell you in her book that, he got privileges because he spoke all these different languages and stuff. So
yeah. Well, and also auditors, those were very rare.
Oh yeah, Karen. Yeah.
And like Karen de la Carrier, she spoke French and English. And then so those people were cherished. And then Pierre Ethier, he actually spoke several and then taught himself even more in order to be able to audit in different languages.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Sam, for that question. Ann Battles question. I am never in for years. Do you have issues now with ex-Scientology saying only what they want you to know? Yeah. I mean, it's just the same thing when we were in there. They only told us what they wanted us to know then too. So it's basically the same. Nothing's changed, and they still control everybody not going on the internet or reading things that is quote unquote and theta. Anyway,
yeah.
Thanks for that question, Ann. Monica Unknown question. When was LRH's experience in a dentist chair when he thought he had a near-death experience that influenced his thinking, or is that just a wives' tale?
I
I
don't
don't
know
know anything
anything
about
about
that.
that.
It might have been when he did Dianetics, but I have no idea.
No, but that he's always had a thing about people being put under and being reprogrammed while they're unconscious. And that could be what's now turned into this being a near death experience influenced by his thinking. But yeah, it's just like when having a child, he doesn't want there to be other noises to distract the mother or to create an engram for the baby by there being noises. He's got the same thing with when you're put under the influence and knocked out. He doesn't want them saying things that could come across as a command, which would then reprogram you.
Okay. Thanks very much. Next question, Ann Battles. Question, I feel misled sometimes for believing everything I hear on these channels. I think Scientology is horrible, what it does to in and outside. Yeah, well, it is horrible. There also was good parts of it. Otherwise, nobody would have gotten involved in it in the first place. But yeah, I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, and there's people who have been in a long time, and they wouldn't be in a long time if they hadn't felt it helped them. So everybody has a right to their own thoughts on that.
Okay, next single learner question. What are your best memories of being in the Sea Org? One of mine was jogging from the Fort Harrison to the beach to swim with dolphins.
Swimming with dolphins is something else. I'll tell you, I did that in Jamaica, and my grin was hurting. I was grinning so hard. It was just so, I'm using a Scientology word, but it was really theta to be swimming with the dolphins. It was a great experience.
Yeah. Best memories for me, when we had time off, like we used to go every Christmas to go skiing up at Big Bear, the whole base, everybody would go, Gold, RTC, CMO. They would rent out condos and everything up at Big Bear in California. And we would go skiing. We'd have like 2 days there. And that was the most fun that I can recall. Other than that, it was work related stuff. And it really wasn't stuff that I go, oh, this was really cool. I had fun doing the Road to Freedom album right after Hubbard died, because we had to bring all these celebrities up to record the music, and we had only 30 days to produce it. And while I listen to it now and I go, oh, that wasn't really very good compared to what comes out today, at the time I was very proud of it, and we had a lot of fun doing it. Janis?
Well, being in Scientology from birth, and then the Sea Org from the age of 11, best memories. I mean, that's a hard one. I always liked to see my mother when she would come to the ship. Maybe in 8 years, she came to the ship 4 times. So that was the best memory of the excitement that she was coming. And there are things that I enjoyed. I enjoyed my time in Morocco. I enjoyed my time in Portugal. I got to see different things. I didn't get the tourist side of things, but I did see, a lot of the world and learn different things than other people because of it. So, but, and I had different liberty. I'd go horse riding and ride different horses in different ports. So it was all very different. There's good memories and bad.
I think you'll agree with me on this point, though, Janis. My favorite memories are of the people that I worked with, because they were great. We had a common purpose. They were fun to be around generally, and I still have people in there that I miss that we had good times together.
Yeah, I absolutely agree on that. Just hanging out with people was always good. Yeah. And the Commodore Hubbard. There was times he acknowledged the messengers, and he sent us to go see different shows in LA. We'd go and we saw Camelot and what's that Cats one? cats.
Cats, and also Dream Girls. Dream Girls. Yeah, you guys got to do fun
Yes.
things like that.
So yeah, and we saw the Bee Gees in concert, and these were all things that Hubbard said to his public relations: get tickets and send the messengers to these. So those were good memories.
Yeah. Thank you, Single. I've got a super chat here. Hi,
Oh,
Watch.
okay.
Thank you very much for the super chat. Hi, Janice and Mark. I'm a never in, but had a good friend who was involved and wondered if either of you ever knew or can tell us about Sonny Bono's involvement in the Celebrity Center or Scientology in general. I have information. How about you, Janice? I'll share
Go
it.
ahead.
Yeah, no,
Go
he
ahead.
got involved in Scientology, I think through a field auditor or whatever. But when he was the mayor of Palm Springs, California, that was where he first got that we heard that he was involved. And then he got involved. They had him do different events and stuff for Celebrity Center. And I think he was even on Celebrity Magazine at one point. But I think he got in through, I want to say Mimi Rogers and Kirstie Alley, but I'm not exactly sure. But anyway, he was involved with it for a while, and then I don't know after we left. How about you, Janice? Do you have any information?
Yeah, that's pretty much the same thing I know.
Yeah, he lived in the Palm Springs area when we were in the Sea Org at the Gillham Hot Springs location, and I can remember going to his restaurant. He had a restaurant there called Bono's, and my wife and I, Julie, we went there on Liberty one time and we went and ate dinner there. But other than that, yeah, I don't really know too much more.
Right.
Thanks very much, Hi Watch. Go ahead, Janice. Sorry, I just did that again. I did it again. One
Okay.
Love 51000 question for Mark. I know your mom is close by. Do you have any other family, brothers, sisters? Thanks as always for sharing. I have, yeah, my mother lives here in Las Vegas. She's 93 years old, and I take care of her. And she's still in relatively good health, but she's in a group home right now. But yeah, no, she's here. And then I have a brother who lives in Ohio, Columbus, Ohio. He's a classical musician. He plays in the Columbus Symphony Orchestra. He's been in there ever since he graduated from college. He plays the bassoon, and he's also the president of the Musicians Union in Columbus, Ohio. And he's been that for, gosh, over 25, 30 years. And he's very accomplished and very, just very successful. I had an older sister who got involved in Scientology, and unfortunately she passed away about 10, 11 years ago. And that's a whole nother story, which I've told before, where, she was a public Scientologist, and they didn't even bother telling my mother or our family that she had passed away. She wasn't a Sea Org member. She just was a public person. Her husband, their family, they didn't even bother telling us. I found out on Facebook 6 months later by just surfing Facebook, and found out that she had passed away. But that's it. So it's just me, my brother, and my mother.
Okay.
Thanks for the question. Single loner question. What was Ron's IQ? I was tested when I got to Flag.
I don't know the number of his IQ, but I will say this for him: to accomplish what he accomplished in the way of building Scientology from nothing and building it up and so forth. He was very, very smart man. He was very big on marketing. So I would have to say he had a high IQ. And
yeah, he had to be. I mean, he obviously was intelligent. He was a writer. I mean, he wrote how many books? Tons, Whether or not you believe in Scientology or not, he put it all together, and it's still around. So he had to be intelligent to some degree. Did he have, some screws loose? Yeah, absolutely. But that's where it's at.
And there was words he didn't understand, and he looked them up in the dictionary.
Okay, I want to be at SP again. Question. Janis was able to keep lots of photos and stuff. Mark, were you able to keep anything? I wasn't able to keep anything except the stuff that I found out later that I'd sent to my family, which was only a handful of stuff. And Janis, you didn't get to keep anything either, right?
No, they went through. I had an off-base storage unit because I'd gone to the Freewind, so I put everything off base thinking it'll be safe there. And then when I came back, I still left it in the off-base storage unit. And after I blew, they raided Jackson. You might be watching this, but they raided my storage unit, and I had a safe in there, and they even broke into the safe. They took all my birthday cards from Hubbard. They took any letters I had from Hubbard. They took photographs of me with Hubbard, various execs and so forth. They took them all. And it was only after I left that certain people happened to have copies of different photos and gave them to me. And then luckily there was times I would send my dad photos. I'd keep the good photos. In those old days, you had to get your film developed and you got all these photos, or I'd get two developments, two sets of everything. And I'd always send a set to my dad or whatever. And so when we reconnected with my father, I was able to get those photos back. But they took that. I had to just recreate it from nothing.
Okay. How are we doing on questions? Because I think we're getting near the end, right?
We are at the end, yes.
Okay, great. We'll take that one down here then. All right. If you have any other last questions, get in there. Meanwhile, what I wanted to mention, it's almost Christmas time. That means channel merchandise is available to you. So all you have to do is go down to our channel store or whatever, and you can buy autographed copies of Janis's books as gifts or whatever, and she'll autograph them and send them to you. You can order Koala Calm, which is from her Outback Natural products. It's a magnesium drink. That's available. And then, of course, coffee mugs, different things like that. And then skip this stuff. But then we got a Rock Slam Those Likes mouse pad. We've got travel mugs. We've got T-shirts. So all of this stuff's available. And then our newest addition is our G'day Mates hoodie. And here is Janis modeling the G'day Mates hoodie on the front. And on the back, it says Our Scientology Stories, Peeling the Onion. And that's available also in our merchandise store. And don't forget, Christmas is coming up. So if you have anybody you'd like to give gifts to, and they're, like watching our channel, that's a good place to go. Anyway.
Okay, there's a couple of questions here I'd like to answer.
Okay.
Jackson, as soon as we end this, I'm going to put my shoes on and I'm going over to Jackson's dad's home. He's only 9 minutes away from me, and Jackson is there, and we're all going to have an early Thanksgiving dinner together. So Jackson's in town in Vegas here. So that'll be fun. I'm looking forward to that. And then the next question is, any plans to interview Chuck Beatty? This is from Elizabeth H. Yes, we will definitely be interviewing Chuck Beatty. We're just trying to catch up on things, and we got, put some things together, but we're working on that with Chuck right now. So that will happen. So stay tuned. And there was one other here.
That's it. Question. What would Scientology likely do with old birthday cards from Hubbard they took from you? Would those be considered sacred and couldn't be destroyed? They wouldn't want you to use them if you ever spoke out, right?
Exactly. And that would show my connection to Hubbard if I could show my birthday cards. But I know you people trust what I'm saying, so I don't need birthday cards for you to hear my stories.
Exactly. And I want to show this from Love Food Kitchen. I love how Mark manages to give QVC a run for its money. Get that merch coin, mofo. That's my training, my mortgage loan officer training. Always be closing, ABC. You know what I mean? No, we're just pushing it just because if people want to order it, we appreciate it. It helps support the channel and all that. And as always, one thing that I can mention too, if you want to donate or support the channel and you don't want to do it there, you can buy me a coffee or buy us a coffee. Just go down in the description of the video. There's a link there. And we appreciate any donations because, believe it or not, it takes time and it takes money to put these things on. So any support is helpful, but it's not required. It's totally voluntary. Okay, Janis, let's start going through our stuff here. Please subscribe to our channel. Our Scientology Stories, Peeling the Onion. We're almost at 9,500. We want to get to 10,000 subscribers. If you're here watching and you haven't subscribed, just click that subscribe button. And Janis, what do they need to do with the like button?
Rock slam the like button.
That's right. It helps get the message out to more people. Also, if you have any questions that we didn't answer or any opinions or whatever, ask down in the comment section. We check them all the time, several times a day. So if you would like to, go ahead and do that too. And as I mentioned before, I would appreciate it also if you would subscribe to my other channel, Las Vegas Travel and More, at M Fisher LV. It's just a fun little channel for me, and I'm trying to put out good content people will enjoy. Have you got anything else, Janice, you would like to say?
Hey, everyone, have a good week coming up.
Happy
It's going to be
Thanksgiving,
Thanksgiving.
too, in the United States.
Eat lots, drink lots, have lots of friendship time, and live well.
Okay, I agree. I second all of that. Anyway, until the next time, everybody. Bye-bye. We'll see you soon.
Bye.